The James Golden Show. It's politics, but theater of the mind with James Golden, a.k.a. Bo Snerdley.
Phone calls in a moment or two. I just want to take a moment out of what we normally do to speak with a very, very dear friend of mine. He is a conductor. He himself is a composer. In fact, this is one of his works, Oasis. My good friend Patrick Burns, and the reason that I've asked our esteemed conductor, Patrick Burns, on is tomorrow is the birthday of American composer, pianist, conductor Leonard Bernstein. Conducted the New York Philharmonic at the age of 25 years old. 7 Emmy Awards, 2 Tony Awards, 16 Grammys, including the Lifetime Achievement Award at the Kennedy Center Honor. He passed away in 1990, 72 years old. Leonard Bernstein, amazing icon. And I wanted someone, and I found out who better than my dear friend Patrick to talk about. Good morning, Patrick. How are you?
Hey, good morning, Bo, and good morning to everyone. Just want to let your audience know that I texted Bo this morning. I said, hey, Bo, I was out for a walk. Hey, Bo, good morning. And he's like, hey, what do you think of Leonard Bernstein? And I just said a sentence or two. He said, all right, I'll call you at 9:40. You'll be on the show. So
boom.
We're winging it here, like Lenny did in 1943 with the Philharmonic, only that was even more pressure.
Wow. Well, what are your thoughts on Leonard Bernstein? To me, he's an icon of American music. What are your thoughts about?
No doubt. I mean, for me, having been born in 1969, and I started the youth band when I was 17 in '86, went on to be a music major. But he was the role model in terms of what I aspired to be as a musician. He was a high level, obviously, the highest level performer, composer, conductor. He really was the model, I think, in terms of what if you want to use the word complete musician or, could be. You didn't have to be one thing. You could have many colors to your career. And he certainly was not the only one who did that and who could do it. There were many, many geniuses who did it. But he, in terms of American culture and world culture at the time, was sort of the exemplar of that, and was a great inspiration to me and many, 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 many others.
Now, when I asked you the question, I had no idea that you had met Leonard Bernstein. Tell us about it.
Well, it's a funny story. It's kind of long, but the if I can reduce it, it was right at the end of his life. He was doing a number of concerts with the Philharmonic in I think it was November of 1989. And your audience members can go back and look and see if I'm right about that. But I think it was in the fall of '89. He died the following fall, and I and a couple of friends of mine were students of Oscar Ravina, who had been a section violinist in the Philharmonic for 42 years. He was a conductor of local orchestras here in Montclair, and we had tickets anytime that we wanted to go to the Philharmonic. So he said, look, Bernstein's coming in. Why don't you come to the concert and then come backstage, come upstairs and meet the man? And so we waited in this line. We were at the end of the line. We waited probably 20 minutes, approaching this dressing room after the concert. And Lenny, you just imagine this. He's in this low-slung chair in a gold bathrobe with thin black pinstripes and a big scotch on the rocks in one hand and a cigarette in the other, and little snippets of German and French and Italian to his friends. And then we 3 college kids walked in, and we got to meet him, and I was last in line. And it's a funny story. One of the 3 was a terrific fan who became himself an excellent conductor. His name is Tony LaGruth, and he's just a wonderful conductor here in New Jersey, New York area. And he couldn't wait to meet him, and he said, Maestro, I'm a student of so-and-so and so-and-so, and I, really glad to meet you. And Lenny is, talking to him. He's talking to him, and he says, he's grabbing his hand, shaking his hand, and he says, oh, another young conductor, in a real gravelly voice. He looks up at Tony, and Tony says, yes, Maestro. And then Lenny pulls him a little closer, and he says, there's too effing many of you. And, and then this gravelly laugh, and I'm just like, oh, my God. And it was said affectionately, but it was just a great moment. And then I told him that I, was a student of Peter Simonauer, clarinetist who was in the Philharmonic, and then we had a little moment. He said, oh, he's wonderful. And I told him, thank you for being such a great inspiration. And he gave me his blessings. And then as we were leaving, his assistant called us back, and we thought we had done something wrong. We were only 20 or so. And he invited us to a party that the maestro was having at his upper, I guess, West Side or East Side residence. And all three of us who had just met our idol looked at each other and said, thank you, but we're going to pass on that party.
Wow. Amazing story. I got to grab some calls, but I cannot thank you enough. Thank you enough, Patrick, for sharing that. You'll come back with us, and we'll talk more at some point in the future. Thank you for taking some time out for us, Patrick Burns.
I love you, man.
Love you too, my friend. Thank you so much.